Hello, hi everyone. This is Leimomi Keliikuli, intuitive soul alignment coach here, and so I wanted to, speak about some realization that I had last night, and I wanted to explain to you guys about how, even if you do have these kind of good relationships, like why is it that it always seems like it's still very, very dramatic? So if you're just listening in, just say hello, just so I know that you're listening. I just wanted to check if the sound is okay. If the sound's okay, please let me know. I think it's fine, but I'm not sure what you guys are hearing on your end. Okay, so the topic I want to talk about is basically why even when you have this great relationships with people, it always seems like people can still be pretty dramatic and very chaotic, right? And you always seem to end up going around and fixing other people's problems, and really like how to stop doing that to really get back into alignment to what your soul actually truly desires. So let me just introduce myself. I'm an intuitive soul alignment coach, and I basically help my people to get into alignment to what their soul really truly desires. I clear out any of that energetic noise that may be restricting them from really stepping into their soul aligned leadership, and really like I can help find what is the missing pieces that maybe this person has been dealing with, and that they just need to get really into this soul alignment, right? So basically what I have found is that your relationships really correlate with your soul's gifts, and your and also have a lot to do with visibility and the ability to really like be in your own heart creation. So if you have been kind of like in this resistance of really stepping up into your leadership, or doing what you really love to do, or you are doing it but it just feels like it's like not moving forward and you're not really progressing, a lot of the reasons is because of your relationships. So, and again, relationships is very deeply in congruence with your relationship with money too. So what I have found is that even if you feel like you actually have really good relationships, usually what's the reason why it's pretty dramatic, even if it is a very good relationship for you, is basically mainly because of the fact that each person that you relate to, they basically don't know themselves. They don't know their gifts. And they haven't really taken action towards what they truly want and what they desire. So what I've found is like most people are walking around the world pretty much like depressed, not really happy. And even if they have a lot of money, or they have fame, or they have whatever kind of abundance, right, that they believe that is, it doesn't mean that they're in alignment. And so I think like what people preconceive is that just because that this person looks like they have it all, right? They have maybe a really good relationship, or they have they make a lot of money, or like all those external things that we experience in our life areas are just a part of our expression. And what we actually need to do as, the evolution of our soul is we actually need to up-level each part of our life area, whether it's our business, it's our family, our friends, it's your career path, right? It's your finances. All of your life areas need to really truly reflect your soul. And when you really truly have a lifestyle that reflects your soul, this is when you're actually going to feel completely happy and content in all the different relationships that you have. Because I find that even if relationships are not really your strong point, maybe money is, right? But you're not really looking at how money can actually help other people in the relationships that they also want to have, which is usually love and connection. So most of the time we just focus on like one part of our life area and think like, oh yeah, everything's so fine and so good, right? Where you might even see like people who are, you know, celebrities, and they look like they have a lot of money and everything, but then their relationship sucks, right? Or they might have a lot of really good relationships, but they don't have a lot of money, right? And this is how you see in a lot of the spiritual community. So, but that doesn't translate as you being in alignment. Okay, so you have to get that out of your mind, that just because that each person has something good, right, in their life areas, doesn't mean that they are in alignment. Okay, it's just because there's just something that's more natural for them to express than maybe in another life area. So our goal as human beings is actually to really like live life, to be happy, to create, be consciously creating what we really, really want and what we desire. And when relationships are going really, really well, you really have to remember that a lot of the times that the only reason why they're doing well, or that it is happening that way, is because you're putting energy into it in some form, right? Whenever you see them, you say hi, right? You hug them, you know, so energetically they're getting some energy charge from you, right? Maybe they don't get an energetic charge from other people because they don't have that kind of closeness or that kind of connection, right? So when it's dramatic, actually, even if you have a good relationship with that person, it's pretty dramatic. The reason that I have found is that they become so dependent on you. They depend on your energy of what you've created in that relationship with each other. And so you end up having to fix other issues that they are having, right? Whether it's their career, whether it's like a certain person, like in their family or their finances and stuff like that. Like the more you enable people, the more dramatic they get, if it makes sense. They get really dramatic because they want you to fix the problem. So the reason mainly is because you're people pleasing. You're pleasing them by giving energy to the relationship. And when there's not an equal exchange energetically, right, where you're giving a lot, but they're not, you're not getting a return. I've even heard this where like some people gave like thousands of dollars to like their family members, and so that they could build their restaurant or build their condo or their house or stuff, but then they don't get anything in return. Like they maybe got $100 or something back in return because that person wasn't really open to fully receiving it, right? That's a lot of deep mindset issues about really not being in their soul's gifts, okay? So I have found that the dramatic actually comes up because you're enabling them to receive that energy energetically, okay? And they're not in touch with what they want at soul level. Usually I find this happens. So you have to remember that your soul really wants to actually focus, on what the bigger vision it is that you have in that relationship, that you have, that will translate into something better in the future, right? So that's really one of the first steps, is you have to remember that the reason you're together is so much more deeper than you can even imagine. But you cannot enable them, right? You have to empower them. You have to empower them to get in alignment to their soul first. And then when you can live your life to empower people, not to please them or to be recognized by them or to be feeling like you finally can be valued, right? It's always in the end, it's going to create drama or some kind of form of chaos, maybe in the future. Okay, so even if it's not happening right now, if you're not in your main gift and you're not in your energy, right, it's going to create some kind of chaotic situation in the future. So it's so important to actually stop and really look at why you have this relationship with this person. What is the real reason you want to have a relationship with that person? Because relationships, they're like a garden. Like, I really believe it's a garden. It's like you tend to it. It needs enough water, right? Enough sun to really flourish and for them to flourish, right? But the truth is that you're not responsible for anything of what, like, good and bad that they create. So if you stand further into your gift and you really see it as like their how do I say it? Like they're their own sovereign being, right? And you are a sovereign being, and really see it from the soul's evolution, like this person needs to evolve in a certain way. They still cannot get into that power until you kind of disconnect from them in that way. Because what's happening actually is energetically there's an attachment. You're attaching to certain illusions or beliefs of what you think the relationship should look like and be like, right? And that's why actually the drama comes up, because of the fact that you kind of enabled them to see a certain way that you're supposed to relate to each other. But real relationships, really, really deeply connected relationship, is actually not enabling them at all. It's actually about empowering them to be themselves, their authentic expression. And that's exactly what they want to create, right? Like, they need to be in their power to create what they want. So I see this a lot with mothers, right? They try to get overly involved with their children, or try to protect them in some way, or the man tries to like make sure that everything is all in order, that there's enough money, there's like food on the table, and of course there's a reason for each of our roles. But essentially, like, in order for our relationship to grow like a garden and be very, very beautiful, is each person has to put their load in. They have to be in their own uniqueness and their own power to give, like, unconditionally to the betterment of humanity and the betterment for, like, your community, for the family as a whole. And that's what we actually need to teach our children about, and also for yourself too, for any of your cousins or your uncles or your aunties or whoever are part of your family and your friends, is we have to learn how to stand in who we are, right, as a sovereign person, and then we each contribute to the betterment of, not just because you have a relationship with that person, I'm going to treat them special, or I'm going to do something better for just that person, right? That's not why we have connections with people. The drama comes up because we continuously feed this need that, one, we want that recognition from that person, or another because we want to protect that person, or another because we have to, like, take care of their health and heal them, right? That they need to be loved in some way. But that's not what it's about. I had a really, really, like, awakening last night, because I was crying my eyes out, because I realized that a deep part of what I need to do to transform my own relationship with myself was what I'm talking about right now, is letting the depth of that person to become truly empowered and sovereign. And so most of the time what I've been taught, right, like my husband says, like, you need to take care of your son, you need to, like, do certain things for your son, and I'm like, But he is like a person growing up and learning in the world. Like, why do I need to do something, right? Why do I need to like get so involved in it? Why do I need to act a certain way? And I really, really question it as a parent to like to my son. And also I also questioned my relationship with how my husband and relates to me. And because at a deeper sense, that's not the reason why we're together. I want us to be together because we are helping not just our family unit, but our community, our country, our earth. And because I have really amazing relationships with people, and it still can be pretty dramatic. And I was wondering why is it so dramatic? I don't get it. Because I'm happy, I feel pretty abundant. Of course, when stuff comes up, like being threatened, like things like that, like comes up, like of course, I go back into myself and I think, well, why the heck did that show up? And I was thinking about it, and I thought, oh, it's because that people really don't believe in themselves. They seriously don't believe in themselves. So when you think deeper about it, that is why. Even if you have amazing life and amazing relationships and you have money flowing or whatever, like, in your life area is just doing really well, you have to remember that every person has to learn, like relearn, like reprogram that you're not dependent on anybody. Like, we came on earth to evolve ourselves. Like, our teacher, and even what I'm teaching you guys, like, you should never ever attach to anybody in any way, any form, because we came here for a particular reason. And so no matter how good the relationship is or whatever, like, if every person could just really believe in themselves and to stand in their truth and to be really sovereign and say, like, this is who I am, what I want, and then go after it, how much would this world be so much more happier? But what we're doing is we're behaving like little children, like acting and thinking like we have to do things in a certain way. And this is why drama happens. So I always actually have to always remind people around me that, what are you choosing? Like, you're choosing to make this fight with me about I didn't take out the trash on time, or I didn't, like, I don't know, like I didn't cut the vegetables right? Like, why does that even matter? Right? This is why we actually as human beings need to stop creating drama about things, is because we are thinking that our belief it's supposed to be a certain way. And as soon as you look deep at yourself this way, you're going to see it's because you don't believe in yourself. You really don't love yourself. And so you need to go back into really truly what you actually are, what you want. And when you see that yourself has not been acting sovereign, has not believing in yourself, that is like not taking responsibility for yourself, right? That is, what else, like, like you guys experience. You're not really expressing this inner knowledge and this wisdom that needs to come through, this unique self-expression, this unique heart creation needs to come through. We cannot create it if everybody's acting out of their beliefs or their illusions. So that's why it's so dramatic. It's because, like, they're not really truly being sovereign in themselves. Okay? So this is what you need to do. Is you need to create people around you that can finally like be themselves. And you have to create the space so that they can learn how to be themselves, to be complete, to feel like they don't need to show like pleasing you, or it goes both ways, right? Pleasing you, needing recognition, needing more love and attention. It's really about like really seeing about your soul's evolution, that you are responsible for that. Nobody else is. So the sooner you can actually be in that space, you're going to see that people react that way too. They naturally start to react in that way. So I've been doing this with myself, with my husband and my son, and I noticed that when I really like come from this place of really being sovereign and believing in my truth and what I have to express in my own creation, and you know what I feel in my heart, what I want to say, what I can do to bring more love and connection, like, and coming from that place, like, they react very differently. Because my first reaction was like, oh no, like, he spilled. I gotta like clean that up. It's gotta look super pretty and gotta like get that done, you know? Or like, you know, that's as the first time moms, we do that, right? In reaction mode. Because you just want to keep your kids safe, right? It's not about that. We're really here to come back into this uniqueness and like remember what our soul really wants to create and really focus on that. Focus again, right? What does the family unit need to become? What the country needs to become? What as all of humanity we need to become? And the sooner you get into your energy and your own uniqueness and your own gift, that is more valuable than you going out there and doing protesting. Or, you know, there's a reason to do that, of course, but it's more about like changing your inner reality first so that everything around you can start to reflect that abundant and peacefulness, right, inside first. So this is why, you know, we're saying, oh, let's send healing and let's meditate and like yeah, you can do that, but you have to remember your action towards your own responsibility is way more important than going out and like fixing and chasing everybody else's problems that they need to fix actually themselves. Okay, so first, in order to get back into alignment, you have to remember that what your soul really wants, okay, ask yourself, stop and really ask what your soul really wants to focus on in that bigger vision of what you want to create for that relationship. Like when you get back into that and for yourself, then you can really create a future that's more of this, what I call true authenticity. It's where everybody contributing to the whole, everybody is like, just knows that this is what they want, this is who they are. Like they're just contributing, they're not thinking about it. And when you come from that place, like everything starts to get more in alignment. This is what everybody's meant to do, is to do that, to bring this bigger vision into fruition by helping each other for the bigger whole, for humanity, for creating this sacredness of what the soul wants and what is really, really true, not just for yourself, but again, for the family, for the country, for the earth, okay? So think from a very more expansive state as to why this drama still happening. It's because you're not allowing each individual to be sovereign and respecting them as sovereign, okay? Then second is you can't really please. Just remember, you can't really please everyone. It's just not possible. And so you need to just stop and take a look at where you need to reprogram what you think relationships should look like, right? And really get back into your main gift. Really get back into why you stand for what you do and why you value that. So once you stop and you kind of reprogram your actions, right, towards this a new way of being sovereign, right? Then you can really truly evaluate what really needs to happen for the betterment of everyone, right, for humanity. And that's the hardest part, is to actually understand that all that relationships and stuff that you're doing has a bigger effect on, the vision in the future that you're going to create. But it has always come back to what the soul wants to create. And then your soul wants to create this new creation of completion, of, like I said, true authenticity. So I gave an example of that when I was running these, healing centers and yoga and metaphysical storefronts. The main thing that all I did was I just hold space for people to be themselves. And what's so incredible when you actually can do that for someone is that they just naturally start to take responsibility for themselves, and they just start taking action towards what they truly want, what they desire. And then when they start getting into that, then they become much more happier. Then that happiness spreads, right? They get into their gift. And then when they get into their gift, then they start to self-express. They bring their own opinion out. They, give out their new perspective. And then when they're in that new perspective, then that's when they need to step into their leadership and then start teaching and start managing people and expressing this new level of service. So the goal really is in our relationships is to do in that form, whether it's personal or in your business. You should always be in this place of authenticity, of true authenticity. And so, like I said, when I was doing this, I had thousands of people around me who are really like naturally doing it. And all I was doing was just gathering people, when we needed to come together. We talk about those issues, about the problems that they may be having, and then helping them to find a solution for it. But all of that all happened naturally. I didn't say like you have to do it, those things that we suppress inside, we have to actually talk about it. We have to feel like we are part of something as a whole. And if you can hold space for people like that, this is when you can really truly say that you are a master of your relationships and that you're a master of your soul and yourself. Because remember that why it's dramatic, even if you have good relationships around you, again, it's because you have enabled them to depend on you. That's not the whole reason we are in relationships. The reason that we're in relationships is to help them to get into their unique self-expression and become who they're meant to be and master themselves. So that was really profound for me yesterday, because I was like, holy cow, I can create this reality with me, my husband, and my son in a way that can truly reflect what they need and what I need and what we need as a family as a whole. I make decisions accordingly to how we all can be a contribution, right, to the whole. That's truth. That's true authenticity. You cannot go around, enabling people and fixing people's problems. That's not the reason you're in a relationship. Your relationship to help to reflect where they are in pain, where they need to heal, where they need to understand themselves more deeper. And then once you reflect that, you help them get into their gifts. You help them to see what they're meant to be, right? And help them to come into the self-acceptance that they can create anything and that they are the one creating that reality right now. Good and bad. That's a choice. So, I miss everybody's comments. Alicia says, I'm learning that a lot of my self-belief comes from struggling to express my inner knowing about something, no matter the topic, right? I just got this big vision of protesting crowds sitting outside meditating on public property to protest their feelings. There's a reason to protest, by the way, take a stand for it, like right now what's happening with the Women's March. But you have to remember that the real transformation is within you. So if you can change your reality, you can absolutely change millions of people. They have actually, I think, found science that one person can actually change 1,000 people by changing themselves first. So it's something that we need to learn how to think differently. We think we have to do something externally, But there is a reason right now, you know, to do a protest. But you have to remember that the bigger shift is actually when you change this kind of concepts that I'm talking about right now within yourself, because that's what's going to shift the masses much more faster than you spending hours and hours, you know, protesting. And for sure right now, yeah, I could say like we need the protesting to show as a collective that what we actually want is not that, right? Not the government or not the political stuff out there. But like I said, it's easier to actually, you as a person, shift yourself and then shift the other people around you energetically. And that's going to make you much more happier, and also all the people around you more happier, right? D says enabling is definitely a big problem between people. People need to change themselves from the inside, right? Yes, exactly. I had to learn not to enable anybody around me, and especially since my energy is love, and if your energy, your main energy is power, it's so hard not to do the enabling thing, because you really love them, like you really want them to be inspired and to take action, to be happy, right? But the truth is, like, you cannot change their evolution of their soul. Only they can. And it takes guts and courage to do it themselves. So whenever like anybody around me are really lost, like I don't like try to fix it. I just try to help them to acknowledge why they are missing themselves and why they feel that lost feeling is because they just want to connect with the soul. And when they connect with their soul, the only way they're going to connect to their soul is taking action towards it. Like you cannot talk about the soul to anybody. You can talk over and over again and give them all of these cool, you know, different tools, but essentially it's a feeling. It's deep within the heart that they need to feel that connection. And when they start feeling that connection, then they show up into this true authentic space, right? All right, so that's what I want to share. And you know, again, you have to remember that you have to stop doing that. Stop thinking that you have to fix things, because essentially the only fixing you need to do is within yourself first, and then that's gonna shift other people all around you very, very quickly. I do this all the time. Whenever I really, really want something, I go inside myself. I do some self-love stuff. I do things to get in alignment with my soul. And then like the next day, like my relationships and everything around me completely shift. Money comes in. Things are very abundant. Things starts to flow. So it's just really, really a matter of taking that time to spend more time with your own soul's energy. And you'll see a huge, huge difference in how you yourself like are happier and more peaceful and more abundant, right? He says, absolutely, it is tough to not enable someone you love, and it's tough for them to do, but they gotta do it. Exactly. They gotta do it. You just, you know, there's only like long enough where you can hold somebody's hand, right? Like they need to like let go of your hand and go off in the world and endure and go through the pain, and like it's okay. It's part of growth. And when you are true to yourself that way, people will really, really reflect that to you. Wow, this is very deep. This got me, this was really on my mind yesterday, and I had to like digest it first, because I saw shifting also when I did this with my husband, and I just like let him digest himself and help him come back to the soul, and same thing with my son, come back to his soul. And it was so amazing because at the end of the conversation, you know, of all the hurt and all the crying my eyes out and everything, I was like, wow, they're really grateful that I held that space for them to endure that pain that they're not really addressing, right? Okay, well, anyway, I hope this enlightened you. If you love this, please do share it. You know, on your Facebook feed, you can just push the share button here. And if you want more, this love and connection and support, and people who really believe in conscious living, and having really good relationships, then make sure that you join my Soul Alignment Leaders for Conscious Living Facebook group, and you can see that right on my business page, and also my Divine Gifts business quiz, which will narrow down exactly what your gifts is. And it's right on my website at LeimomiKeliikuli.com. And anything that you're needing help with getting into soul alignment or business alignment, that's what I do. So have a look at my website and watch all of my videos I have on my YouTube channel. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search my name, Leimomi Keliikuli. And all of my videos are all there to help you in getting into your alignment. And so next week I have my interview series. So not next week. It's next week. Yeah, I think it's already next week. It's going to be on March 1st. February 1st, sorry, where I'm going to have my first guest speaker speaking about messaging and storytelling. It's Pollyanna Brown. So if you've been wanting to know about how to really get in alignment and share your message into the world, definitely you don't want to miss this one. All right, so I hope that enlightened you. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. And remember that your higher psychic gifts and getting in alignment to what your soul really desires is ultimately how you are going to create this divine abundance for yourself. All right, so you have a beautiful day. Aloha.